I'm Glenn McGinnis, and this is Outburst. This week, is the mandatory hotel quarantine for international travelers the right approach?
No, I think it's a terrible approach.
Yes.
You almost have to look at it on a case-by-case basis.
But first, it seemed for a time Canadians were suffering from what some could call vaccine anxiety after criticism over a slower than expected rollout. But the Prime Minister pledged that vaccines will be available for every Canadian who wants one by the fall. But recently, more vaccines have been coming into Canada, which could help the government meet that deadline or even move it up. So we took to the streets to ask Canadians what they think. Our question:
will the federal government meet its target of vaccines for all by the end of September?
Well, I hope so. I mean, we're at the mercy of a whole bunch of different factors. A lot of them are uncontrollable, and they just pop up whenever they want to, the uncontrollable things.
Well, if that guy wants to keep his job, he will, right? Pierre Trudeau. I don't know if he will or not. And to be honest with me, I'm not too sure about this COVID thing. I don't know about it, so I don't know. These are tough questions.
Well, the way things are going now, I don't think so. I got to be honest with you. I think they should have been on the stick a little bit more than that and pressed the suppliers harder. If the suppliers have received funds already, I think they should have been pressed because it's been paid for.
The way it's going, probably not by the end of September, no.
I hope so. I'm a little skeptical because things have been moving slowly, but it would be nice. Yeah, that would be really great.
No. I hope it is, but I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, because we haven't got one shot for, like I said, where I'm from.
Maybe.
I'd say the same thing, maybe. I think they might, but I'm not really putting any faith in them.
Yes, I think so. It looks pretty crappy right now, the rate that things are coming out early. Hey, we're not through the year yet. Got to be hopeful.
I hope so, but I doubt it.
Why?
Because I believe they're over-promising.
No.
Why not?
Because I don't think we're an advocate enough in the market to get them in, to get our supply. I think we need to be more proactive in that. Maybe building some home vaccines that we could utilize from our own country.
I think they will be. I want to be very optimistic.
I mean, hopefully, but I mean, nothing has really inspired confidence at this point for me.
Let's just say fingers crossed. I'm really hoping so.
I don't know. I believe that they really want to, but there are so many variables, so many unknowns, and they can't. It's beyond their control. So I hope so.
I think they might hit the supply. I mean, it's the provincial government's job to hit the distribution, and I mean, Palliser might get to it, but he doesn't seem that super keen on it. So
It's hard to imagine, but I would like to think so, but it feels like we're on a real slow track to get there. So if it happens, great, but I'm not anticipating it.
Very, very slow compared to other countries, and other countries are way, way, way faster than us, and they're still not there yet. So,
well, it looks like we were late, I guess. Like some vaccines were supposed to come, but they didn't come on time. So I don't know if there's going to be delays in the future. So by the end of the year, probably yes, but end of September, I'm not sure, to be honest.
No. Comparison, benchmarking against other countries, not quick enough. Not quick enough. It doesn't seem to roll out as quick here as it does elsewhere.
And you?
Yeah, same. There seem to be a lot of problems that keep coming, not just here, everywhere, that keeps coming, and for unforeseeables keep pushing it. So, yeah. No, I don't think so either.
I don't think they're going to meet it. I think things have just gone wrong enough so far that I can't see it all of a sudden being smooth sailing from here on out.
I'm thinking maybe like a good start, like probably close, but I'm not sure if it'll actually make it to the end of September.
It depends.
We'll see.
It depends on how many people want it.
I don't think so, just because the way, like,
goals haven't really been hit during the pandemic. Like we thought that we would be out of this by now, or things like it's been hard to predict things. So I'm not too sure.
I'd like to think so, but honestly, I have my doubts. It just seems that there seems that all these plans and approaches are targeted, but in terms of just like widespread inoculation program or effort, I don't see one yet. So I have no idea how I'm going to get an inoculation, where. I suspect I'll probably be the last person to get one.
And what about you? Do you think they're going to hit those targets?
I think it's good to think so, but I don't think we will. I think with more delays and stuff like that, I think it'll probably be pushed later than that.
That's like 33 million vaccines by the end of September. I don't know. Seems like a pretty big stretch. I got to say, it seems like a pretty big stretch to me.
So even with more vaccines coming into the country, you still think it's going to be a challenge?
Yeah, it could be. Distributing them could be hard. There's a lot of people who I feel like are resisting this vaccine. So getting it out there could be difficult.
The government policy which mandates international travelers stay at a government-approved hotel for 3 days when entering Canada has been garnering both praise and criticism, depending on who you ask. Although its aim is to help slow down the virus, many people will tell you this decision was a bit heavy-handed and perhaps a little expensive. Recently, there was a legal challenge mounted against this federal policy, claiming it infringes the fundamental rights of Canadians. So we took our cameras out to see what you think. Our question:
is the mandatory hotel quarantine for international travelers the right approach?
We were literally just talking about that, and I'm not really, we all miss traveling, right? So if it's going to have some deterrence that keeping people out of our province for the time being, which means that we can open businesses here, I think that it's an approach. And if it's going to keep people from traveling, then sure.
Makes sense to me. If we want to, try and beat it here, and then we have to keep it coming from outside. I think we need stronger internal measures as well.
No, I just think that if somebody's taken the shot away from here, that they should be able to quarantine on their own.
I don't have a problem with it. I think we need to have something, so that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think people should be traveling, and I think people should be really careful. So that's one way of discouraging people from traveling.
I know someone that's coming back from Chile that they already got vaccinated in Chile, so hopefully they could just take like a COVID, and it just saves them the 3 days. But I think right now that's fine. It's reasonable for anyone coming in.
Yes, I think we should not be traveling international if at all possible, because that's the way it's spread.
I think that's a good route. I would say that there needs to be exceptions for exceptional cases, in particular where families are coming to be with loved ones who are dying, and this is their last chance. In that one in particular, or for people going for health treatment in the States. I am glad that they have made some exceptions there. But otherwise, I think it's great. I think it's great as a deterrent for people to travel, and also for protecting the spread.
Yes. The safety of other people. So they're recommending people don't travel unless they have to. So if you choose to travel, then you take that into account.
I would say yes right now, because you're not supposed to be traveling. So unless if it's for business, I guess that kind of makes a difference. But if it's just like leisurely travel, you're deciding to put people at risk, so that's what you ask for, to pay out of pocket when you come back.
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I think something has to be done for people that are traveling, and I think maybe with putting it on your own dime, it may curb people from traveling. So I think it might be the right thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think it's a black and white question myself. There are people that have to go travel for family reasons, for medical reasons, and students. I think you almost have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. Snowbirds, I think certainly they should be, held to account for fleeing, but everyone else, I think it has to be taken on a case-by-case basis.
I think that's too strict in a sense that not everyone has, the means to stay at the hotel for 3 days. They could just quarantine at home, but there's a risk though if they have family at home. So I don't know, to be honest.
Yes, I do. Yeah, definitely. Because if people are coming in, if we came in, we did 14 days quarantine, and that was we had to for coming in. If people want to come, they have to do it. I think that's fair enough. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's the right thing to do. Yeah, and so we came from Singapore as well, and you had to pay for, if you had COVID or you came down with COVID and you were travelling the country, you had to pay. You had to pay yourself. So if you want to travel, unless obviously you're working for a company that will pay for you to stay, but yeah, I think that's the right thing to do.
I can't think of a better way. I would think that it's a good idea. I mean, we have to all quarantine ourselves if we've been in contact with a known COVID case or had a COVID test. So if that's the way to do it, that's the way to do it, I guess. So,
my opinion, they shouldn't travel at all because of the COVID and everything's going on. Oh yeah, man, they should even put the price higher. That's my opinion. Oh yeah, I totally agree with that, and I have no problem with that, totally at all. That's why I don't travel, so you don't travel. So why would they travel and get for free and all that stuff and bring that stuff back here? That's how we're not killing it, because they keep bringing it out. So no, I totally agree. They should stay the whole 14 days at a hotel. Darling, that's my opinion.
No, I think it's a terrible approach. I think it's, I don't think that there's so much a problem with the fact that people can't quarantine at home. It's some that won't quarantine at home. It's more of a trusting the people to go home and do the quarantining, more so than the fact that quarantining in a hotel is no different than quarantining at home.
No. Why not? I think it's a little bit too harsh. I think people can quarantine in their own homes.
I mean, I guess really I don't know what other option there would be to make sure that people are quarantining when they get back. So I guess that would probably be a good thing.
I guess so. Government has been doing its job, to really lessen the COVID cases here in Canada. So I guess if people want to go on a trip, when it's really important, they should put in a budget so that they can afford hotels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, if they can afford to go on a holiday, they can afford to pay the hotel room too.
That is an absolutely good idea. Because they're coming from outside the country, we don't know what they're bringing in with them as well. So COVID-19 is all over the world, so people need to be quarantined 14 days after coming out from other countries.
Until there's a better option. That's the way to go, I guess.
Yes. Because if I'm unable to travel, I want to keep my family safe. So if you're coming back in, I hope that you would keep me safe as well.
I think it's a good idea, but I don't like the price that they're charging everybody. It's kind of ridiculous prices.
100%. I think if you are going to go out at this time and place and do that, I think it is very important that you understand that there are some precautions that you do need to take on your way in. And if you're not going to plan ahead for it, then maybe it's not the right time for you to be traveling. I know I heard that it is a little bit of a price range, which is good. I heard it could be up to $2,000, which for me, I will definitely not be traveling. But if you can afford it, then I say you do you.
I think that should have started long ago. There were more people coming in when this thing fired off, going through in BC through Vancouver and that, coming from Asia and even the other coast. The airport should have been shut down. I believe that the quarantine is long past due. I'm not so sure the process. I think the process is flawed and messed up. I think that should have been looked at a lot more than the way it was handled. I think it was done too quick, without thought, like thinking the whole process through for everybody. And it shouldn't be expensive.
How many U.S. states border Canada? Is it 7, 10, or 13?
I'd guess 10, I'm not sure.
I'll say 7.
I'm going to say 10.
I'm going to say 10 too.
7.
13.
13.
13.
You know what? It's 13. Very good.
The 13 U.S. states which border Canada are Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Washington State, and Alaska. The boundary stretches almost 9,000 kilometers from the Atlantic to Pacific Oceans and is the longest undefended border on Earth.
Anti-firearm advocates have been calling for a national handgun ban for quite some time now. But the Prime Minister feels that decision should be left up to the municipalities. Gun control was a big election campaign promise in 2019, and the Prime Minister feels this approach could play a big part in curbing gun violence in Canada. Some may feel approaching the matter this way could make things overly complicated, as well as needlessly penalizing lawful gun owners. So, who do you think should have the final say? Our question.
Who should have the power to ban handguns? Your municipal or federal government?
I'm going to say federal government, because if you leave that up to municipalities, it's going to be too uncoordinated. And it's something that you need input from people on the ground, but you also need to have a strong coordination for something like that.
To ban handguns, I don't think it should be anyone's responsibility. I think Canadian gun owners are the most strictly monitored gun owners in the world. They're some of the most responsible gun owners in the world. I think they should be allowed to own handguns. I don't think anybody should ban handguns. I think they should be controlled. Like, I don't think anybody should be able to just go and buy one, obviously, but I think banning them is a little, over the top.
I'm not entirely sure if handguns should be banned. I haven't really done a whole lot of thinking on the subject. But if they should be, then doing it municipally is basically not doing it at all, because all municipalities would have to agree, so that's not going to happen, so it's not going to be effective. So if that is the right plan, then the federal government should do it.
Federal government.
Why?
Well, I think it's a matter of public safety, so the government should, I don't think we should have guns on the street in Canada, so the government should do something about it.
Municipal would probably work better, because certain areas would require, well, not require, but certain areas would have more or less requirements. It depends on where you're living, basically. Bear country, yeah, I need a gun. Very, very, very high crime rate areas, maybe not so much. So, yeah, I'd keep it municipal.
I don't see how the municipal government necessarily even has the power. I mean, I don't know constitutional law that well, but I would think that it would be within the federal government's power. And I also think it's a national issue. I'm not sure if it's dependent on each city to take that upon themselves. So in my opinion, federal.
I think it should be the federal government.
Why?
Well, that way, if it's the responsibility of the federal government, they have control all over the country, right? They can decide to ban or not ban guns. If it's just for cities, so a city can be for guns, another one against guns, and I don't know, it's going to be not a good thing. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be a good thing if it's just to the cities to decide.
I think it should be a combination of both. I think that, at least this is just my opinion, the role of the federal government is really to legislate. I think at the municipal level, I think they're more hands-on. I think that they're in a much better position to be able to, however they decide to enforce, the gun registry, as much as that was a disaster, this is really where it has to be a partnership between both the federal and the provincial governments. And if the provincial governments decide to engage municipalities in terms of enforcement, however that may play out, then I think that's definitely something that should be forged between the provinces and the federal government.
Federal.
Federal, yeah. Federal. Yeah, it's got to go up. Take it straight to the top, right?
Yeah, it's got to be the whole country.
Everyone's got to agree.
Municipal. Why? I think when there are more people involved, it's just better overall. Like when there's less people and higher up controlling things, it's not very good. And when there are more people involved on a level where you can relate to people in your city, I think it's better for people to do it that way.
Federal, you're going to have a total patchwork of bylaws and regulations, and people are going to get confused.
Yeah, I don't know what else more to say than that. I think, you break it down into smaller municipalities, it just leads to more confusion.
Both. I don't see the need for handguns. Why do we need to kill each other, really, or injure each other? We have enough law enforcement in our judicial system. We have enough. I don't understand the gun thing. I mean, if you want to be a hunter, yeah. There's regulations around that. I'm not opposed to someone wanting and owning a gun, but it should be extremely controlled.
We should not have handguns, period. I have no use for them, so we should be banned. I don't care who does it.
I think probably your federal government. Because I think municipal governments are very, some are great and some are not great.
I think both should have a say in it. Federal, though.
Haven't put any thought into that at all. But I don't know. Did you say federal?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say federal, because then it's just a blanketed overthink. Then people aren't carrying guns across provincial lines, maybe?
Both. I think if you want to ban guns in your city, you should definitely be able to. And if you want federally, of course, they should also.
Oh, I think municipal. It needs to be local. Everyone, it can start right at the local level.
I think whatever it takes. We need to ban them.
And finally, since it's already been 1 year since the pandemic was declared, many people will agree it's been a year that none of us will soon forget. Almost immediately, we had to learn to do things differently, and perhaps picking up a new pastime or routine along the way. So we took this question to Canadians.
What new skill or hobby have you acquired during COVID-19?
I started learning a new language, actually.
A new language?
I don't know if it's a skill, yeah. Spanish. Yeah, I took Spanish courses online.
And how's that going?
Pretty slow, because I have so many things to do, so I do it on my spare time, which is not much, but yeah, it's going pretty well.
I haven't acquired anything. No, nothing at all.
I haven't, nothing new.
Nothing new.
No.
Is there any kind of learning experience you can give me that you maybe learned since it began then?
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, working from home is a new thing, right? Yeah, so we've worked at home quite a lot, yeah. A hell of a lot. Yeah, Teams is my new friend.
Small but weird, using a mouse with my right hand. I'm left-handed, so that's what I did traditionally, but a lot of programs and things aren't set up for that. So it's small and it's weird, but yeah, that's pretty much how I spent my time.
And how's your progress?
Good, actually. I pretty much ambidextrous with it now.
Audio production, and I'm actually on my way right now to go buy some new brushes into painting little miniatures. Got a lot of downtime sitting in. I live in Quebec too, so at past 9:30 we're not allowed to go out and do anything, and I work overnights, so I wake up at like 6 p.m. and I got to get all my errands done really quickly, and then I just sit at home. So I got all the time in the world.
So you're painting miniatures?
Painting miniatures and audio production.
Having fun?
It's great.
Probably the thing that I've learned the most in COVID is, the value of your own time, being able to rely on yourself for certain things, be all right with yourself, not need to, surround yourself with people all the time, being all right with yourself. I think that's maybe the thing that I've learned most in COVID.
Any new skill or hobby or wisdom?
No, I just want to follow up on what Rob said. I totally agree. I think skills and hobbies, I work, so, I'm exhausted by the end of the day, so I'll have a lot of time for new skills. I wish I did, but I don't. But I think kind of living in the moment, just, just trying to be at peace in this crazy time has been something I've been working on.
Online learning, definitely.
Lots and lots of that?
Lots and lots of that. Yeah, it's mostly like working from home all the time, so basically learning to like manage your schedule without going away from home. Yeah.
Sure. And what about you?
I mean, I agree as well. Like, that's basically a lot of our time is just spent online learning and trying to study and find new ways to cope with the online virtual thing. Yeah.
Cross-country skiing.
Tell me more about that.
I've been going like on all my weekends off. We've been going all over Manitoba. It's been super nice. If it wasn't for COVID, I probably wouldn't have picked up the sport. So
I supported my husband in making sourdough bread. I've done more sewing and knitting than I used to do, or that I've done for a very long time. And walking. It's been good to be out walking.
Skating, snowshoeing, and just spending more time outdoors.
To skate, that's why I'm here. I've learned to skate. I'm still not very good, but I can get from point A to point B.
I live on a farm. I have a lot of hiking. It's a skill. I go miles now.
Not really anything new. I've been cooking more. Walking a lot.
Walk a lot and we see a lot of new parks.
Yes, we've learned about a whole lot of new parks in Winnipeg.
There's some great ones, eh?
There are.
What kind of parks? Like urban parks that you just
Yeah, urban parks. Places you can walk to. Urban parks, yeah.
Well, I had a baby, and I actually just got back into music. I'm a DJ and musician on the side, so that's pretty much what I've been focusing my time on.
I've done a lot of handwork, like knitting and crocheting and making souvenirs from this pandemic year, and a lot of reading.
I'm just continuing spending more time on my usual hobbies, which is biking. I'm commuting to work, spending more time skiing and skating. I absolutely am so proud to be a Winnipegger with our wonderful trail, our skate trail. I use it to commute to work, and I'm so proud to see many families out playing together, sliding, doing tobogganing, even just walking around, looking at the lights. It's just really nice to see.
Thanks for watching this episode of Outburst on the Cable Public Affairs channel. I'm Glenn McGuinness. If you have any comments about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. It's your turn to speak up, and we're listening.